But wind energy was good in and of itself. It doesn't use water. I mean, it's sort of like in West Texas, and I think a lot of the future of the Great Plains with groundwater issues, that you couldn't have invented it. An industry that didn't exist and now employs 20% of the workforce, doubles the wages, brings in new people from around the world to live in your community.
To harvest an abundant free resource.
Yeah, right. It doesn't use water. Yeah, I mean, there were ranchers here who used to say, they bring their bride out here who, eyes got like, oh, where am I? And it's like, it's not much, but who knows? If we could just make money off the wind and the rocks, we'd be somebody. 50 years later, before they passed away, they're making money off the wind and the rocks because, you crush up the rock to make the roads for the wind projects, and you make money off the wind, and it was like Perils of Pauline. I mean, it saved the ranch. Because a lot of these communities were really on their way out. Even 30, 40 years ago, you had to leave when you graduated. If you weren't going to work at the gas station, it was sort of like young women could work at the bank, young men could go work in the oil field. And otherwise you were sort of at the gas station because there weren't no convenience stores. And so that was your choice, or you left. And you were gone for 40 or 50 years. I mean, you moved to Dallas, San Angelo, Abilene, Lubbock, Houston, Washington, Los Angeles, New York. You moved away. That was your choice. There was no other choice. You stop the students from leaving, then you give them better jobs. And then you've got, I know people from 17 to 70 who are working in this industry and are more vital than they've ever been. Those communities are now a choice community. I mean, they're by choice. People live there. People are moving in these communities from Germany and Denmark and Italy and Japan and Ireland and England over here because they like the quality of life. They like the western feel. Obviously, throughout the Great Plains, just that open sky. And again, people from those areas who never really wanted to leave but had to now can move back, and not to retire even, to move back to vital careers even if they're in their 70s. It's just normal, like when my dad worked at the gypsum plant. That's normal. Somebody else's dad works in a ranch. That's normal. Now it's, well, what's your dad do? He works, I don't know, he works at the wind company, works for General Electric. It's like, we might say, wow. They're like, so does Kelsey's dad and Kaylee's dad and Katie's dad and Caitlin's dad. And, they all do. Part of it, you go out to the Little League Park, and, there are supporters for forever. They've been business supporters of Little League in every town. And so here you'd have the town, and maybe there were oil industry signs out there before. Maybe they were agriculture processors, and some of those signs are still there. And then you look up, one day I looked up, and every sign there, only one of those businesses had even been in business 5 years ago. But now it was Wintex and Carmichael and Wetzel and Carmichael law firm that was Wind, and it was General Electric, and it's Florida Power and Light, and it's Hilliard Energy. And so suddenly, and the names on the back of the team shirts for the soccer league or whatever, that it's all these new businesses who want to contribute, and in some cases they're the same people. They're just working in a
they're working in a different industry.
And in some cases it's a totally new company, which has brought in 100 new people who are now part of our community. So when you think about, are these all local jobs or not, it's like, they're all here. That means they're all local. The church camp can choose to have some turbines if they want. And then that's $20,000, $30,000, in basic income. And that's for the families, the institutions, the churches, the schools, the hospital district, which is county-wide, so it's got all that value in it. It just provides a base level. It doesn't solve every problem.
Right.
But certainly from an agricultural standpoint, which is crucial to the whole Great Plains, it makes growing corn or cotton or wheat or raising cattle much less stressful if you're not betting the farm. If every year it's like, okay, we got to go take out another $100,000 loan, we got a $40,000 loan, got to get an $80,000 tractor, it better rain.
That's really interesting what you just said. That idea that it's not, it doesn't displace it. It's not like there aren't a lot of people who are going to cash in they're not going to sell all their cows or get rid of all their cows, or they're not going to get rid of all their cropland just because they got wind turbines.
Right.
But what it does mean is they're much less likely to go into debt. They're much more likely to get out of debt. I could see the ad campaign. You could show a real farmer and or rancher that's got turbines on his or her land, and you could say now he doesn't have to bet the farm to farm.
Exactly.
The idea that you don't have to put everything you value at risk.
Right.
Do what you value.
Correct. No, that's exactly it. But then there's some families that have just been getting by. They're suddenly much better off. And their immediate first thing was, now I can help the Little League in my hometown. Or, you know, we needed some new furniture at the community center. And, you know, they've always been the one, who, you know, heart of gold, who would have done it, but they're like, here's my $5. And now they're like, don't put my name on this, but we're buying, you know, we're buying a new fire truck for the volunteer fire department. And, you know, here's $100,000. But they're doing things now that they always wanted to do. And they never had the means to do it. I mean, they would have given their last nickel, but the nickel wouldn't buy the fire truck. You know, so it's the same way whether it's the pilot car drivers or the cafes that know how to respond to this, or the 24-hour tire repair companies that know how to, you know, get out in the middle of a ranch, or, you know, a lot of these people that are, say, above their 70s, they're working in land work here or land owner relations because they know all those things.
Exactly, it's all relationship based, and they have all that.
Those 1,100 jobs are here.
Yeah.
The $500,000 a year, $500 million. We get our M's and B's mixed up down there because we're adding more zeros than we used to.